Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Steve Dago.
And
Jay.
G, right? Not J.
Jay.
Like Lil J?
No.
J-A-Y.
It's your girl, Lil J.
This little girl ain't scared of
Not
nobody.
funny.
Scared nobody.
Well, this is it,
Here we
guys.
are,
It's our
boys.
100th episode.
100th episode, number 100.
Yes. We're doing nothing special for it.
Yeah,
It's just a
this-
regular episode.
This really shows like the level of preparation we really and thought that we all give into this.
You can say it to me.
Because we decided to pick the most obsolete movie we could think of.
Obsolete. What do you mean?
It's not even a disaster. It's a movie about an incident.
Well, they prevented disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Seconds
but,
from disaster.
but nothing happens.
We just had a train crash in like the same area like 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, we could have did a
One
movie
that
about
destroyed
that.
a town
Yeah,
and like polluted the earth.
Is there a movie about that?
not
No.
yet.
Yeah. Well, we probably should have put
What do
more
you
thought.
mean? You didn't
We
like...
probably should have put more thought for the 100th episode. That's all. Maybe do a big movie or something.
Maybe
I don't
even
know.
realize it was going to happen. That could help.
Yeah.
One of our fans did, Mr. Ricardo Vasquez, tried to give us money to commemorate the 100th episode. So I want to just publicly thank him for
Thank
that.
you. Thank
We
you,
didn't take
Ricardo.
it,
No.
but he wanted to.
Unless Brian
That's
took
nice.
it.
That
and
was
didn't tell
nice.
us.
Yeah, I DM'd him on the side. Yeah.
He noticed, we didn't.
I was like, I need it.
Thank you, Ricardo.
But yeah, we're doing Unstoppable.
Yeah. It's a train
What year
movie.
is this?
2010 is the movie.
2010.
Takes place in 2001.
Yes.
Well, the real incidents based on was 2001.
Yes.
right?
yeah.
But even the
Crazy
movie,
Eights.
like they have like, the 2001 cell phone.
Yeah,
They did
go
with
they
that.
do.
They put it in Pennsylvania.
They put it in Pennsylvania. The real thing was in Ohio.
It's in Ohio. Made no sense, but whatever.
Every
Nobody wants to be in Ohio.
Right. Who wants to be there?
I mean, the railroading in this movie is so fucking not good or correct. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know about trains. So
I don't know about trains.
You don't know about. So it worked for you.
I'm like, yeah, I buy all of this.
I've seen a lot of train movies.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about trains.
Like the Polar Express.
like train out of the train
You got-
store.
You got a touch of the tism?
I've seen a lot of train stuff. Maybe I know a couple people that know about trains. I talk to them sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe a guy I know has a couple of stories about trains.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is confessing to hanging out with hobos.
He's a cart hopper.
Yeah.
How do you think he gets all the pictures of those woods?
What's that movie about Ernest Borgnine chasing hobos on trains?
That's called Emperor of the North.
Okay.
That's a movie about
He really does love
Ernest
trains.
Borgnine on a train, and he's beating the shit out of hobos.
What a concept.
There's this great moment where the hobos are hanging on the bottom of a car, and he takes like a fucking heavy thing attached to a train, attached to a chain, and just lets it go under the thing so that it hits them.
He just wants to inflict as much damage on hobos as possible.
Yeah,
What the
but they're
hell?
trying to ride his train. You see,
Yeah,
and they
you
can't.
can't
do it.
abide
You
by
can't
that.
have that.
Oh,
I did it. I did.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I did a Tell 'em Steve Dave video recently that was like involving trains.
Yeah.
And in my research for it, I discovered there's a hobo Twitter.
Hobo Twitter.
What?
Not Twitter. I'm sorry, hobo
What?
YouTube,
Mhm.
where they film themselves riding the rails and hopping on trains
Sure.
going across country.
it's a great method of transport. you
And
know?
this is what they do.
It's American as apple pie.
yeah,
Hobos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the stick and the bandana tied up with your
Do you know what it's called?
no.
A bindle stiff.
Have you ever heard the
Ah.
song "Big Rock Candy Mountain"?
And the
Yeah.
big rock candy
Yes.
mountain.
Do you know what that
About-
song's about?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess hobos.
It is written by hobos to
Mhm.
lure children to their hobo camps and trains so they can molest them.
Yes.
Oh, like Carl Panzram.
Yes.
right. Yeah.
So wait, so it's a hobo sex
It's a
song?
hobo like sex song. So like you come with us to the Big Rock Candy Mountain, but really the Big Rock Candy Mountain is child
Yeah,
molestation.
they're like the Pied Piper of rapists.
I think that's how Nickelodeon casted their shows. They would play that, and whoever came in,
Ah.
you get to be on iCarly now.
Yes.
It's like how
Yeah.
witches would draw you to their fucking huts.
Baba
Singing.
Yaga.
Ugh.
Baba Yaga. Hut of Baba Yaga.
Oh,
So
that's Emerson Lincoln Palmer.
so I knew nothing going into this film.
Okay.
But I looked up the cast first because that's what you kind of do.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is probably going to be amazing.
It's a great cast.
The cast
Denzel.
is insane.
Denzel's very good.
Yeah.
Fake Kirk.
Fake Kirk
Fake
is
Kirk.
there.
Rosario Dawson.
He's pretty good too.
It's like, wow, look at this.
Yeah, Dawson and a Creek.
It is
The fat guy from My Name Is Earl.
Yeah.
Ethan Suplee, also Mallrats.
TJ Miller.
TJ Miller.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's
TJ
the
Miller's the
comedian.
guy with the hard hat and who just doesn't know how to run, apparently.
Yeah, he's the one who's with
The conductor of the
okay.
first train.
Right.
So I guess we should give some background on what the real life incident is before we dive into the movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty short.
So the Crazy Eights incident.
Yep.
2001.
Notice incident, not disaster. Incident.
This is a CSX train, which is a freight company.
Are they like a big prominent company?
They're massive.
All I know is Amtrak.
Amtrak is passengers.
Okay, CSX
It is a
is.
freight
freight.
company.
Are they the ones who like keep getting robbed in California?
I'm sure they're part of that. I don't
Okay.
know the details, but there's a couple of big freight companies. Them, Conrail's another one.
Okay.
But CS
Conrail, that was a sequel to Con Air, right?
Yes, it was when
he's taking the
John
train.
Malkovich takes over a train, and Nicolas Cage is transporting stuffed rabbits.
Yeah.
Uh,
Got the whole.
world. Oh, and they'll go to Las Vegas at the end.
Yeah. Rolling crabs.
They drop Chappelle out of
Yeah.
the sky. But yeah, so this train 8888
Yeah.
was doing yard work, and the engineer.
Now, what is yard work? Like, it's not gardening.
moving.
It's just moving around in a yard doing
Okay,
things.
you got to move the train, switch
yeah.
cars and
It
shit.
had
Get ready to
39
leave,
cars. Oh no, I'm sorry, it had more than that. Let me check my notes.
Well, it was in Toledo, and it was
It had
heading
47 cars.
47
25 of them were full. The rest were empty.
When it says full, it's cargo.
cargo.
Yeah. 2 of the cars had molten phenol, which
Okay.
is a toxic chemical
It's
used in glue
adhesives
making.
and shit.
And
That's
explosives. It's highly flammable.
The engineer noticed that the switch in front of him was lined incorrectly. So rather than stopping his train,
And
well,
the
he actually, I have to give him a little bit of credit here. It's not that he just decided not to stop his train. The story is that he realized that by the time he saw it, there wasn't enough stopping
So,
distance.
real quick, the track that he was on was going to go the wrong place.
Yes.
No. The track that he was on was going to go through a switch that was lined against him.
And what does that mean?
It means that he would end up breaking the switch and possibly derailing the train.
Okay, so it would have derailed right at the station.
Possibly. It was not a station, it's in a yard.
But there, it could have
Right.
derailed right there.
If he was coming from, how do you describe it without visual aids? He's coming off of a track,
Mhm.
and it's not that it can go, to the left track or to the right track. It's that he either can come off the track or he can't come off the track at all. It's
Okay.
lined that he can't come off the track.
Mhm.
He has to throw the switch. So rather than attempt to stop, because he is determined that he can't, there's not enough room. He's going too fast to stop in time.
And he's too furious.
He jumps
Right.
off
He's
of the
drifting
motor
the train.
Right.
and throws the switch. Now he makes it just in time to throw the switch so that the train is able to safely pass over it. However,
So that was the correct thing for him to do?
it's hard to say.
Okay.
He should. Anyone, he's going at restricted speed, I assume, which means all
Slow.
onus is on him for the most part.
Mhm.
He should have seen this problem long before he did.
Okay.
So that's the error right there. Now, this particular engineer made the really, really terrible mistake of rather than putting his dynamic brake on, he hit the notch.
He went full throttle.
He went full throttle.
like Charlie's Angels.
He pushed the motor into full power by mistake.
Okay.
He thought he was hitting a brake. He hit the wrong lever.
There's actually, if you look online, you could see a picture of. Is it called a cockpit?
A cab.
Whatever. You could see a picture of the two switches next to each other,
They're identical.
and they're like
very close.
They're
Yeah.
right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. So the train starts moving quickly. Now it is pulling 46 cars, so there's a lot of weight behind
Yeah,
it.
it has to pick up speed.
And like we said, he threw the switch properly. So the train safely passes over the switch, but now it's moving, and he fails to grab
back
onto
on.
a grab
He
iron
tried
and climb back
he
on.
fell in the movie and also in real life.
He ended up getting dragged 80 feet.
Yes, in real life, not in the
Yes.
movie.
In the movie, the guy just kind of throws his hands up and
He's
goes,
like,
ah!
Well, time to give up.
That sucks.
The attitude of those two guys is so like
Insane.
It's sociopathic.
Yeah. I love how TJ Miller goes, what are we going to do now? Like, he can't just reach out and grab onto the fucking cart and just walk to the front. Like, why? It's going slow now. Why? They're like, nah, just let it roll. Like, what? What are you doing?
So this thing is now free to make its way onto the main line, which it does. And for 70 miles, we have an out-of-control train. Now, there's a couple of things that
and it's
immediately...
going 50 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know about trains, there's a couple of red flags right here that immediately pop up. One of them is the dead man switch,
What
which
is
I
that?
think we mentioned in the pick episode when
Yes.
we were talking about this. So the dead man switch is something that every engine has, that every couple of seconds it goes, it's in the cab of the of the engine that goes beep, 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 and the engineer has to hit a button, and that will alert. It's called an alerter.
It basically says he's alive.
It tells the
He's
train
not sleeping.
that the engineer is alive and attentive.
That's so
Okay.
annoying.
It is. At least I've heard it is. But if the engineer does not hit that button, the train automatically puts on all of the brakes on the train.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
When was this implemented?
This has been in practice for many, many decades.
So before 2001.
In this particular incident, because they were doing yard work, and I guess the engineer felt that it was annoying, it was cut out and put out of...
So he turned it
he
off.
turned it off.
Okay.
Um,
He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't need
Right.
this.
Another thing going on. So the movie makes a big stink about the air brake hoses not being assembled and put together
This
properly.
bothered me very much.
So when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Because
Now, what is an air brake? I
right.
don't know.
so the way brakes on a train work,
Brakes on a train.
brakes on a train, the way brakes on a train work. I apologize to the listeners, by the way, if you are bored to tears already.
No, you're learning
I
something.
think this is
Um,
interesting.
You're learning something.
The engine has pressurized air in it,
And it goes, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can.
and it
Soft
will
breathing.
Yeah.
through those piping cables throughout the entire train. Every
Uh-huh.
single car on the train has these brake pipe hooked up together. Shoots the air through the train, and if there is air present in that pipe in those cars, the brakes can be controlled from the engine, and it requires air in them to release the brakes. The absence of air means the brakes are on.
Okay.
So you have to use the pressurized air to kind of push the brake shoes off of the
To
brakes themselves.
slow everything down.
Right. So when they show brake pipes not assembled,
And
it says to me, this train isn't going
not
fucking
moving.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not
Stop
possible.
moving.
Right?
Yeah.
The only way that you could move cars in that situation where the brake pipe is not assembled is if those cars already had air in them and then you closed them off. So now all of the brakes are released on the cars, but they are completely out of control from the engine.
Okay.
This is exactly what happened in the real incident.
So this is what happened in real life.
Yes. So it's called bottling air.
Okay.
They filled the air with they filled the cars with air, released the brakes, and then closed them off to the rest of the train.
Uh-huh. What's the
The
purpose?
only reason this would ever be done, and it's extremely dangerous, and no one I know has ever done it.
Okay.
Is to quickly move cars around in a drilling situation in a yard where you'd like take cars off one track, put them on another, and just quickly move
You're
them around.
trying to do
you
very
kick the
fast.
car. You're trying to. It's literally just I want to do this as fast as possible.
Okay.
Safety be damned.
It's like a sloppy thing that you would do if you're
I
cutting
wouldn't do
corners.
this,
Not
but-
you, but I'm saying
But
like
and no one I know would do this. I've never seen it in a movie.
what, no. When I say you, I mean like the royal you. Someone would only do this
Yeah.
if they're trying to just do their work as quickly as possible.
Right.
So it's
Cutting corners.
Okay.
It's cutting
good-
big corners.
it's a good thing to note.
Mhm.
A big factor of this is they left from Toledo, and their destination was Wallbridge. Now that's only about a 15-minute distance
Okay.
drive. So with a train, probably 16, 17 minutes. So they're looking at less than a half-hour time period to go from those two places.
Yeah.
That's probably a huge factor where it's like, we're not going far. Just fucking, get the stuff done.
Yeah, I guess. And I'm going to assume that they were probably still in the preparing to leave phase of their job that day.
Mhm.
But that's how the incident started.
Okay.
I guess
We'll
that's
talk
all
about-
we need, to start the movie, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll start the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It goes inspired by true events.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's directed by Tony Scott,
Yeah.
who
Do we know
I
him?
love Tony Scott.
What do we know him from?
He directed Top Gun.
Okay. He's an action guy.
He's like the action guy.
Uh-huh.
He directed True Romance, a movie I
The
love.
movie where the Uzi falls down the stairs and kills like 8 people.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't like physics.
No.
He's not a physics guy.
He's not even like about filmmaking rules.
The amount of shit that's turned up to 15 in this.
It's
You know?
it's so
The
insane.
derailer scene really was like, holy shit. The helicopter.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Tony Scott is about just like
Over
he
the top.
jumps the line in his films. Like he doesn't
Yes.
give a shit.
Right.
He's just all about like
Over the
high
top.
octane action shit, which is why I love him. He's one of the greatest action directors
This movie,
ever.
like,
Make
as
something
much as
explode
I'm
or don't put it
I'm
to
gonna rip
screen.
apart the technical aspects of it, it's fun as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a blast. This
It's
movie's
so dumb. I don't like action movies as much as you guys, but I found it really stupid. It's just not. It has its moments of fun like that, but
Yeah.
it's stupid. Yeah, it seems like if there's no explosion, don't put it to screen kind
This
of situation.
is such a guy movie because
Yes.
you as a guy are watching this and going, all right, how do you do it? You know, you start trying
Yeah,
to figure
yeah.
out ideas and how do you stop this train?
Tarantino loves this movie with like a passion.
Does he?
Yeah, he thinks it's like a masterpiece. And I could see where he's coming from.
I'll tell you
Because
this.
There's the way it's filmed, and there's so many moments where like they ratchet up the tension. There's so many near misses.
Yeah.
You can't help but be like, oh shit, what's about to happen? You know?
The I love the characters in it.
They're great.
Like Denzel
Really?
is a crotchety old engineer. Like
Yeah.
I've seen that guy.
But
You've seen an old yard dog
Yeah. In movies.
Yeah. Punching hobos.
Yes.
let's talk about these yard dogs because that's the one thing I say. Look at these old yard dogs just hating on the young one. You know, like
That was very real.
it was, but I got confused with one part. The young guy, Will, new Kirk,
Yeah,
Fake Kirk, yeah.
fake Kirk.
Don't even give him that.
Yeah.
Don't give him new.
There's another Kirk now.
He's just, you know,
Yeah, but we won't even talk about that.
yeah. He's looking for Frank, and like he's over. Another young guy goes, he's over there. Good luck. Like you're about to have a rough
Yeah,
go.
This guy's an asshole.
Yeah, Frank is gonna fucking hate
Sweetheart, nice guy, experience. Immediately was nice to him. I
It
don't
wasn't.
really.
There was obviously tension
you.
there.
Yeah.
They're
Like, look at the new asshole.
It's like
It's not as bad as
in
other
a normal,
places, man.
In a normal daily situation, everyone would be laid back and like just like, all right, we're gonna do our work today, and not even like discuss it fully.
Yeah.
You discuss it.
Yeah.
They discuss it. But he comes at him and he's immediately quizzing him, which is so disrespectful.
Like, you don't know anything.
Yeah. Like, he's immediately he's running down lists of things that he's making sure this guy has covered. Like he's not capable of doing his own job without being, like, ridden by this older guy, you know?
Mm.
And
You're a baby. You need me to supervise.
And then the other guy straight up just insults him and is just like, I'm not here to do daycare. Right?
Yeah, that's not tough. That's not really a hard situation.
There are guys
man.
that need to work together.
Yeah, I get it.
What do you want him to do?
Listen, if you're a
Steve's
completely
like, he
new
should have
person,
branded him with like a hot iron.
yeah, if you're a completely new person and you just want to like kind of test, like, hey, is this guy on my level? Or do I have to fucking watch him? And you kind of do that. I see no problem with what he was doing. I see absolutely zero problem with what Frank was doing.
It's not a problem. That's the thing. It's completely within the parameters of the job. It's completely acceptable.
But if you're the young guy,
but it's not. It's done in a malicious, like, sort of fuck you way.
They're looking at you like an asshole.
Right.
Like, if you're the new guy, you don't want an old guy to be up your ass telling you what's what every 10 seconds.
Right.
It's fucking annoying.
And it's meant to be. Like, that's the whole premise.
Yeah. I took it a different way. I didn't feel it was. I felt the young guy actually needed to be watched.
He does need to be watched.
Like,
but
so was he wrong?
But he's doing it in a fuck you manner.
They're cordial. No,
because
I don't think it was a fuck you
guys
manner.
They're
working
doing a
together.
job.
They're doing a job.
I don't know if it was.
But he looks down on it.
I don't know if
Yes.
it was a fuck you manner though. I didn't take that. I didn't feel
I
that.
expect a certain level of excellence out of you.
Yeah,
And you're going to give it to me by hook or by fucking crook.
Yeah,
and I'm going to force it out of you.
that's fine. That's fine.
It is fine.
Right?
I'm not saying it's not fine, but it is there.
If you're
It's
warning
meant to
Will,
be intimidating. It's meant to be like. It is meant to be instructive.
Yeah, completely. He
But
wasn't like,
but it's
you're
all-
stupid. He's like, this is an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're new.
And it's your job to be on top
It's
of
your
this.
job to be on
and
top
I'm
of
going to be
this.
on top of you until you are.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
fine. But when they're talking together, it's not like he's being mean to him. He's just like, no, like, you're new. You're going to learn.
he's cold. He's
You know
not
what I
very
mean?
friendly.
The other guy is mean. The guy who's not working
Yeah.
calls him, I'm not here.
Yeah. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, Frank was kind of more
That would-
welcoming. Like, I'm going to teach
Well,
you.
that's
know?
the good characterization, because
Yeah.
if he was if the other guy was Frank, then you wouldn't like Frank. But the other guy is there to do it.
And the other guy hates.
I'm just referencing saying, like,
Yeah.
I don't feel as a person who has worked in multiple fields, the person who's going to be on your ass and making sure that you're the best you could be is not the person that I'm going to warn my coworker about. It's going to be the one who is like, and treats you like shit.
I'm going to
You know what
warn
I
my
mean?
coworker about the one up my ass. 100%.
I'm going to be like, hey, this person's going to treat you like shit. If this person's going to treat you nice but expects quality work, I'm not going to warn you about that. That doesn't seem real.
It's also everybody's crotchety.
You would know more.
This was the most real scene in the whole movie.
And
I don't know. It felt weird to me.
It's also like there's
Like, Frank seemed like a nice, good guy.
There's-
Like, you know, like,
He is.
I wouldn't
But
warn
it's a
anyone
weird
about it.
dynamic, like with a new person.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Yeah,
also
okay.
they.
You don't trust them. You know?
It's also this thing in the movie where
Rightfully
the
so.
old people are kind of being thrown into forced retirement,
So there's,
which we
Yes.
find out a
there's
bit
the
later.
union
Yes.
subplot,
Yeah.
which doesn't really
Makes sense.
make sense
At all.
because there's no way in hell that any of these railroad workers aren't unioned up already.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 2001.
Yeah.
It's not
It's not 1880.
fucking hundreds.
There's no scabs coming
Yeah,
in.
it's not like the owner of the company was like, my son needs a gig. Let's put him
Yes.
on a fucking train. Like, that's not happening.
Either you work for free or the Pinkertons are coming in.
I can hire 10 Chinamen to shovel coal. That's what this movie needed. It needed like in 1800s, like when they show the executives, everybody's normal, but there's one guy who's like Cole Meany in Hell on Wheels.
Yeah. He's just a railroad baron.
Yeah. My railroad stretches from coast to coast. Everybody else is normal. He's a giant mustache and shit.
He's wearing a top hat.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, so there's that whole subplot and like
And they go out for their work that day
yeah.
in the
and,
yard.
and we meet Ethan Suplee. the fat guy from My Name Is Earl, Mallrats, all this stuff, and he's just
he sang a very exciting song in the
American History X.
Yes.
I knew what you were talking about.
It's a catchy tune.
Yeah. If you saw it, look it up. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Ethan Suplee, he's like, we got to get moving.
Ethan's.
That's the
engineer,
actor's
right?
name, the fat guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we meet now. Little kids are going on a field trip, and they're gonna ride the train.
Train yards
Leaving the train yard
are extremely dangerous places. There is millions of pounds of equipment moving around in multiple directions at any given moment in a train yard.
Let's go on a
You
trip.
are not going to bring a class full of small children. These are young children.
They're like elementary.
And it's for the
Yeah.
Railroad
Like 4th
Safety
graders.
Commission or whatever. And all that they teach these kids is to yell Railroad Safety Commission over and over again. Every time you see the children, that's what they're being led in chants of Railroad Safety Commission.
That's a good field trip, though.
This movie stinks. This is so
I love
dumb.
it.
Yeah.
This is so fucking dumb.
Meanwhile,
What? First off,
the one kid gets bored and wanders off onto the train.
first off,
I have no doubt they'd be dead kids if they brought them to a yard.
they're curbing the herd. What kids don't go on a school bus for trips? Why are they on a train?
No, that is the trip.
Yeah, but, like,
The trip is to
who
the train
goes-
yard.
Who does that?
The Railroad
I've never
Safety
heard-
Commission.
I've never
Yeah.
heard of kids going on a trip to go see a train. Like, it's what?
Look, Tony Scott needed the train to be aimed at things with stakes.
Yes, children.
Children. And it fucking worked.
It works for like half a scene.
I thought they
Nothing
were
else
setting it
happened.
up for like the end of the movie.
That's what I thought.
Because obviously your movie brain goes, oh, the
This is
children,
big.
they're going to be on a collision
Right.
course.
It's not the case. They just kind of pass each other. And
I
the
like
kids go
that
like,
they-
"Oh, fast train."
I like that they did it early and
Yeah.
it keeps escalating. That's what I love about this. Every time, like, it looks like the situation is underhand, it gets worse. And, like, it's constant near misses and it just keeps building.
So we meet Will and Frank.
He's
They
4
start
months out of training.
4 months out of training. Frank is 28 years railroading.
Now, the
And-
real guys,
Yes,
uh,
real.
Both are white.
they're both white, yeah.
but the years were the experience was pretty accurate,
Yeah.
right?
The first guy
Yeah.
was, the young guy was like a year and like 4 months or something.
I think it was 8 months.
I know it was closer to a year. And Denzel, I believe, was 31 years.
35-year engineer, Jesse Knowlton.
That's Denzel, right?
Mhm.
Now,
And Terry Forson, 14 months. 14
Okay.
months as a
14
conductor.
months.
So
He has over a year.
so do you think
He's
the
a qualified conductor.
the senior engineer would turn to the new conductor and say, "This is your train. I'm just a driver."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a real I'm asking you as a dynamic.
The conductor is the guy in charge.
Gotcha.
The conductor is the captain of the ship. The engineer, jokingly, if you're in yard service, will often be called a throttle jockey.
Oh,
Their
Oh,
job is
really?
to just take orders.
really?
Yeah.
Just to ride the throttle.
But doesn't the
But-
engineer make more money?
The engineer makes more money and has a vastly
bullshit.
more technical knowledge of everything going on.
Okay, so they know more.
Yes.
But
It
they
is their job to know everything about
but they
that
do
train.
less?
They sit in the cab and move the equipment. The conductor does every other thing.
Okay.
Like anything going on outside of that, especially this is in freight and yard stuff more than, say, a passenger
Uh-huh.
train. But the conductor is the guy climbing onto things and putting things
Right.
together and
Okay.
jumping up and down and being a
Right.
maniac. The engineer is in the cab going backwards or forwards.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
when everything's working. When it breaks, then it's on
gotta
him to
it.
fix
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
you
the
know?
engineer. Okay, I wasn't sure. That's why that's interesting.
So, yeah, we're introduced to them in their years of service. There's no switch for the loose train. We went through how he fucks up
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, but in the movie,
The air
when
brake
he
gets
jumps
severed.
off, When he jumps off to throw that switch, I even rewound it to double check.
Okay.
The switch is clearly lined for him. He does not need to throw that switch.
Are you saying he wanted it to happen?
The switch was correct. And he goes and runs and throws it.
Fuck this train.
This is a major flub.
He wanted it to happen.
I've heard it said that a way to tell if the switch is lined properly is to think where water flows, the train goes. So if you look at a switch, there's a gap between the movable point of the switch and the rail itself. And if water can flow through there, meaning it can go through the gap, that is the direction a train will go when you're looking at a switch.
Okay.
So on the fly, you can look at it, do that in your brain, and you'll see which way a train.
So you watched it.
I watched it. I went, wait a minute. And I went, hold on. And I watched it again. And I was like, yep, that is fuck up.
Is your
my thinking is they probably, to get the shot, we're not going to let that switch be wrong.
Yeah.
Because then disaster could happen while it's moving towards.
that makes sense, and like nobody will know
Yeah, unless you know.
unless you know.
And in this, a ghost pulls the throttle down. He doesn't pull the throttle. The throttle was like in the correct position.
I actually
like
have
goes
to give
down.
movie engineer more credit than real guy engineer. Real guy engineer just fucks up and
Pulls the
completely
wrong
puts
thing.
the wrong switch.
Yeah.
He has the excuse of I needed to put the notches up to get it moving because we were pulling so many cars.
Yeah.
Now that is generally true. Like you would need that much power to pull that many cars, but
This one he kind of got Final Destinationed.
what do you
He
mean?
did.
Where like the equipment,
It moves itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it just
was a
like
ghost.
goes by itself.
It was in the right spot, and then
And
like a
it's-
ghost
yeah.
just goes all the way down.
It
It's like,
legit is like Final
like-
Destination.
is wind blowing this thing? Like, what is happening? How loose is this throttle that it could just move? Like, it requires zero force. They did no research, did they? Like, they really
Actually,
just
I think they did a lot and just like didn't care.
It's
Because a lot of it is good.
right,
you know, like, to a
right.
point.
Yeah.
so now the train is loose.
Yeah.
Now we see the 70s.
And Rosario Dawson shows up in the yard.
The Millsburg Yard.
Their center is very high tech.
It's a train
Cool.
yard.
A lot of screens.
Here's
Can I tell you what this movie kind of reminded me of, and tell me if you think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
it's another train movie.
But
train.
did you get any vibes? Because like
Yeah,
all the yard calls and
yeah,
things like that.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Rosario Dawson's character. She is a yard master.
Okay.
Now, a yard master is the person in charge of a yard.
They're the master of ceremonies.
Their main function is to coordinate things like mechanical people, dish out what kind of.
They're a manager.
Yeah.
They're not a manager. They're union employees. They're not part of the management.
They're personnel.
They're definitely managing.
They are
stuff.
coordinators.
Yeah.
You know, it's to like figure out what work needs to be done and getting that work to the people that need to do it. They are not in charge of like everything on the entire railroad.
They don't have
They
direct
have a very
connections to the
limited
sheriffs.
area of authority. She's in contact with like the police, the
president.
with with like the CEO. Everybody's on the same radio channel, by the way.
Right.
This radio is fucking insane.
Chaos.
It's going intercity.
There's like 175
Yeah.
people on the radio
Yeah.
at all times.
She can see like the entire railroad on her board.
Yeah.
It's all lit up.
So you think
And
her
she
control
delivers
room
donuts
is a
to
little
children.
overpowered.
Her role in this is way over.
And as far
Once
as
that train left her yard, she'd never hear about it ever again.
she's like, oh, that sucks for someone else.
Yeah.
Now
She's like five
not
roles in
based
one.
on a real person, if I'm correct.
No, I don't.
I could not find
her
it.
character is not.
The information
But
about
another
this-
thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's very limited, the amount of like details you could find about the incident.
This is not a lot, and a lot
is
of it's been covered up.
Yeah.
Like we don't even know the name of the guy who fucked up.
That's been buried
Yeah.
forever. The other thing is, like you could see the real news footage of it, like the train. It doesn't look like it's that fast when you
It's
look
50
at the
miles an
footage.
hour.
Oh, 50 miles an hour.
It's
Yeah.
At its height.
But,
But 50 miles an hour with that much weight is scary.
But when you look at all the footage assembled together, like you can watch the news reports of like the night this happened.
Yeah.
It's not as
kinda
like,
moving.
pulse pounding as the movie.
Well, let me just. Do you think you could grab a moving train at 50 miles an hour?
No.
I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot.
No.
I could try.
You lose a fucking limb. But I do think that it's not that difficult to catch up to a 50 mile per hour train on the side of a rail and kind of hop onto the ladder.
If you want to die.
I kind of do. Because they tried that a few times.
The thing needed to slow down before anybody was going to get on board.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. But what was I going to say? Oh, the FRA is in the building.
What is that?
That is the Federal Railroad Administration.
What? Just watch the line.
It's the Feds. It's the government.
Is that the thing with Kevin Corrigan?
Yes.
Okay.
So
They're the big guns.
The brother from Goodfellas is there. He's
Yes.
out of his wheelchair.
Yeah.
He's grounded for life. And he comes in, he's almost like a comic relief. Like, we're supposed to laugh at him. Like, look at this nerd.
But he's serious.
This dude,
We were supposed to laugh
if
at him?
that guy was on the premises, everyone would be terrified of him.
Yeah, he's treated like garbage.
Every single person involved would be running away from that man. They just had a runaway train. The government is on the scene that can fine and fire people.
And they're like,
The
go
fucking
talk to the
FRA.
fucking
They're like,
kids.
look at this nerd. He's doing
go
math.
show him around. Go show him around.
Get him out of
He
here.
knows chemicals. This movie stuck.
I like it.
And he's just being polite. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I have some input
I'm here. Yeah, I can help.
I do know what I'm talking about.
Rosario's like, I got 175
Listen,
people in my ear.
what do-
I don't need 176.
Yeah.
It's like, what? What's happening
It's like,
right
this
now?
is the most important man.
Why is there only 2 people in the entire control room? What is going on? There's 100 screens. 2 people work there.
That's who should be in the control room. The fucking the yard master, and if that's where they control the switches from, the tower.
Just 2 people.
Yeah. But
So now we cut back to Chris Pine and Denzel.
yeah.
And Denzel calls his kids.
Yes, his daughters that work at Hooters.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not chesty enough to work at Hooters, let's be
No,
real.
they're not.
So Rosario finds out about the train being loose. And she calls up this like hippie dude.
Dude. No, it's not a hippie. It's a fucking redneck. Get it right.
Yeah.
Get it right.
he's-
It's a redneck
this
with
is
a red pickup truck, and it's Ned. Ned's the fucking man.
Ned is Appalachia is on the scene.
Yes. She knew Ned's gonna be late to work. He's close by. He'll solve this. He's the go-to man. I don't know
bet you-
why.
and that guy just has the look of someone who knows more about trains than anyone in the world.
There's no
You know?
reason for him to exist.
That is
in
a
this
train
moment,
man.
but it's okay.
He's fucking getting fucking coffee.
Yep.
And she tells him to head this train off at a switch
Yes.
and kind of lead it onto a siding. Now, here, what is a siding? We need to understand that because it comes
Yeah,
up
it was a little
several times
confusing.
throughout the movie. So, a siding is a long stretch of track that has no other purpose than to be next to the main line. So, the main line is where all the train traffic goes.
Like a temporary
A
stop.
siding exists so that something can get out of the way of something else.
Right.
So let's say a train is going north and another train is going south on the same track. The train going north can go onto the siding, get out of the way until the train that's going south passes it, and then continue on.
Makes sense.
That's what siding is.
Makes sense.
They're all over the place, and they come into play several times in this movie. In the real incident, they attempted to derail this train
Several times.
several times by just routing it onto sidings and just hoping that doesn't make the curve. But it made the curve every single time. Yeah.
It's a well-built train.
Another thing I was, and this is not a technical problem or anything, it's just something I personally know about America's railroads. They're very old.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They're falling apart in a lot of places.
Was this 2001?
Still very old. A
It
lot
is.
of the infrastructure on the railroad in this country is from the 20s and 30s. It's extremely old. When you leave what's called the Northeast Corridor, which is the region between Boston and Washington, D.C., it really gets bad. very quickly.
Once you leave the Northeast.
Yeah. And we're talking about Ohio/Pennsylvania here. We're talking about old rails that are probably not good for high speeds. So, like, every track has a designated maximum speed on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you have well-built, well-maintained tracks, that speed can be higher. When you have very old, out of, like,
Rusted,
fucked up,
yeah.
warped, the metal's warped, you're going to get tracks that aren't good for more than like 20 miles an hour. And if something hits it, it's going to derail. And for whatever reason, some miracle, this did not happen in this instance. I don't know how about the territory that they're actually on, but that would be my theory that it's not good. Now, maybe better than I think it is, but I'm just speculating.
Okay.
Are we speculating for the real incident?
Yeah.
Or the movie? Because it's two separate places.
I'm talking about the real incident. The movie, everything looks pretty good.
I think Ohio, like all those should be pretty good. Should be updated.
These freight lines get a lot of traffic.
True.
And it's up to the freight companies that own the tracks themselves to maintain those tracks. So,
Is it normal to put giant fuel barges next to railroad stations?
I was thinking about that too.
On the Stanton curve.
I feel like that's a dangerous.
As soon as I saw, yes, giant fuel depot, literally under an elevated rail
massive
line.
curve.
Like, this seems dangerous.
Yeah, I feel like somebody would have been like, maybe that's not the best location. I'm pretty sure fuel storages are not near rails like that, so I don't know though.
I'm sure they are in certain places, but maybe not underneath.
Yeah,
them.
I meant like that's
On
what
the
I meant.
curve.
Yeah, like I just meant underneath it, like because
a 15-mile-an-hour curve.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen. Well, this train was, like we said before, was carrying molten phenol.
Yeah, same as the real train.
It's like a giant toxic firebomb, but the Fed guy knows about it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know about this.
You know about this?
Yeah,
All right, you can stay.
Yeah, it makes glue. It makes glue. All right, this nerd is useful. What? And now we get the near miss with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the kids are out on the main, and they have, it looks like an entire train.
It's a train. It's a class trip.
It's a whole train, yeah.
They narrowly miss.
They narrowly get onto a siding to get out of the way of this thing. To me, it looks like it was way too close a call to not be a hit because it takes a long time for a train to move an entire train onto a siding,
Yeah.
But it literally happens with seconds to spare. The fucking thing hit the train. This happens several times throughout the movie. There's no way they didn't hit.
There's so many near misses.
Yeah.
Get him sent a picture of Ned because he's a real guy and he's played by Lou Temple. And it says throughout the movie, only Ned knows.
Ned knows what's up.
Ned knows everything. He's the man.
He's a welder. He's the head welder.
Now, is he planning on welding something here or just...
Well, he was throwing the switch.
He was the switch
Okay.
guy,
Yeah.
and he's the one that lets us know this train is moving faster than we think it is.
Yeah, it's
Now
already
they would have
fixed.
been able to see this. Any dispatcher that's watching the board can see that the automatic signal system would have been being knocked down as the train goes.
Man, she's talking to a lot of people. Come on.
Oh, not even her. There's no dispatchers in this movie.
Right.
Dispatchers are who would be in control of this and trying to save the day,
Oh,
not
really?
the yard master, whose territory the train left hours ago.
I'm assuming she's like 5 roles in one, just to like keep it simple,
Look, we need a female in the movie to do something.
Right.
Something.
This isn't a
mostly everything.
I do like that she delivered the donuts and coffee, though.
So yeah, they just miss, and Chris Pine talks about to Denzel. He has a restraining order against his kids. We get a little backstory.
Well, the kids have a restraining order against him. He's not protecting himself from his children.
He tells that story. Get him away from me.
I don't want. They
They're out of control.
Fear for my life. My 2-year-old.
You meet his kids. It's the 2 girls from The Shining.
Yeah, it's warranted.
Come play with us. Chris
He's like, I need a restraining order. Like, nah. They're doing this 3 a.m. I gotta be up.
They needed to be corrected.
So, T.J. Miller and Ethan Suplee, they're riding side by side with the train.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the
God.
best idea
With
ever.
zero remorse for what they've done. Literally, like, fuck you to everybody around. Like, look what we did. We created a disaster.
Okay. I want
We're
to.
agents of chaos.
I really want to play devil's advocate here.
They would be so ashamed of themselves.
They, at first, when they met Ned,
It's not T.J. Miller's fault at all, by the way.
Who's that?
The conductor.
The conductor.
Yeah.
No, it's the engineer.
Yeah.
but I want to play devil's advocate here only because they thought it was going really slow. They were like, we
Yeah.
have time to catch up. We'll just hop on and
They
stop
thought
it.
they didn't realize.
They didn't realize
A
the severity
ghost.
of the situation.
Yeah, they also didn't know a ghost.
So I
was
can't
gonna
hate
come.
on them because once they actually do find out, they're
These
like,
guys
oh,
are
shit.
fired already, by the way. By this point in the story, they've already been
gone.
fired.
Oh, you think the conductor would get the boot too?
I don't know.
Well, in
There'd be an investigation, but the engineer's definitely not fucking coming back from
Yeah,
this.
In real life, we don't know what happened.
Well, in real
life, it
he
got
was-
covered up.
In real life,
Yeah.
he had such high seniority that they were probably like they gave him a no
You think they gave him like
Maybe.
a no work job.
do yourself a favor, don't
And
come
retire.
back.
Go retire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or kept him on till he could retire.
I like to think
you know.
that unions are so corrupt. They just protected his job and he was still working.
They might have.
Do you think
They might
other
have.
people at the yard would know it's him though?
No, it was
Yes.
like he
Yeah,
he messed
right?
up,
Yes.
Everybody would know, like, you're the fucking asshole who caused the incident.
And then when new guys come to like work with him, someone's gonna go over and be like, "Watch out for that guy."
That's the guy you should watch out for. Not like, hey, that guy Frankie's going to teach you a lot. Listen to him. He knows what he's doing. Also, Ned. If you ever work with Ned, he knows what he's doing too. He'll weld the shit out of everything.
So not Chris Pine, T.J. Miller and Ethan Suplee are riding in a car next to the train.
Mhm.
And
They're attempting to jump from the car to the moving train.
And they fail.
they fail because
Their
like a
car door-
hole or
It's
whatever.
a signal.
Also, their car door goes off, and they're just like, now what do we do? Motherfuckers, you're about to kill a lot of people. Keep going. Keep trying to hop on that fucking train. I don't care what it takes. Stop the train. Your car, oh, you lost your door? Okay, keep going. What do you need the door for?
Yeah,
Useless.
after this, they give up and they're
Yeah,
basically
they're like,
out of
oh,
the
well,
movie.
someone else will do this.
When he first missed his chance to get back on the cab, he literally throws his arms up like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't chase after the slow-moving train. They're like, what do we do now?
The real guy, like I said, he got dragged 80 feet trying to
Right.
climb onto that thing.
I think that would have made it better.
It would have made him more sympathetic, but you're supposed to hate
Yes,
him.
I
they
know.
want
Yeah.
you to view him as the biggest incompetent asshole ever.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time you see him, he's supposed to be working and he's like sitting on a golf cart eating or like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And like just fucking around.
They want you to dislike him in
Right.
every way.
And when the guy Ned first sees him, he goes, "You guys are always fucking up."
Why would Ned know that?
Because they're known fuck ups.
Well, Ned knows all. Ned knows
Every
all.
day
Ned
these
knows
two
all.
guys are fucking dicking around.
they're always horsing around.
Would Ned be even working with them? He's a welder.
He sees them.
Ned knows all. So we get a cut back to Will and Frank where Frank's like, hey, I noticed something. There's some distance here where we should be clearing, and we're not clearing it. What happened?
You fucked up.
You fucked up. He cut 4 extra cars, which, were you bothered by this? Does this happen where you could just add 4 extra cars?
He just didn't count right.
Just didn't count right, and that's
He
it?
took too many cars.
That
The train
happens?
is longer than it's supposed to be. Mistakes happen, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. you
Is
know?
that like a more common thing that might
That could happen.
in a yard?
Yes.
Or possibly in a movie?
Maybe in movies I've seen,
Yeah.
someone very close to me may have done that exact thing on more than one occasion.
Ah.
Someone, wait, did I say very? No, someone I saw, someone I know. You know,
I like that Denzel is kind of showing him what's up here.
He should.
And I guess you could call this movie Training Day.
Thank you for
Cam liked it.
Yeah.
thank you for derailing the conversation.
It's the fool who puns.
Son of a tuck.
Son of a took.
Yeah.
Fool of
Now,
a
if
took.
you're Will,
Oh.
he's like arguing back and forth, right? Like, why even
Yeah.
argue? You know you're wrong. You know you fucked up. Just take the
He doesn't
fucking
want to
shoe.
admit
Just-
that he doesn't want to take the L.
Just take the L.
So now they get told.
By the way, everyone is just freely using cell phones everywhere.
Well, this is
Now,
also 2001.
It's 2001, so they would have been. They would have been.
yeah,
They're not smartphones. They're actually just phones.
Yeah.
they're regular phones, and like there probably wasn't all these rules about not being on phones and
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
yet, you know?
Right.
Because emergencies happen. You might
Yeah,
get a
like
call.
The big catalyst for that, I believe, and this is just me going off memory, there was a disaster on the Metro North passenger rail line, which is like New York's local commuter rail, coming into Manhattan, I believe from the Bronx in like 2008-ish.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like it wasn't until 2008ish we started to get cell phone while driving laws.
Yeah, and there was a major disaster where people were killed, and it was, and they, I may be mixing this up with sleep apnea. But the engineer was either fell asleep while he was driving or he was looking at his phone. One
Wasn't
of those
that
things.
the ferry?
The ferry was something different.
Barry was drunk.
It was a guy on pills.
Okay.
Or pills.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he was on painkillers and he crashed the ferry like into the
That killed a couple
terminal
people, right?
and killed like 14 people. Yeah.
Sad.
And then he killed himself.
Yeah, he did.
The operator of that boat.
I probably would have too.
You should have.
Yeah.
I would have thrown my hands up and went,
Yeah.
What do we do now?
And then when people are like, "What the fuck?" You're just like, fuck you. What are you, a bitch?
Nobody tells me what to do.
what are you, a bitch?
This movie's so ridiculous.
This movie's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Dawson wants
in
to
the
derail it.
Real quick, in the movie, I just want to say this little detail.
Yeah.
It's the 777 train.
Instead of the 8s.
Instead
not the
of the
crazy
8s.
eights, yeah.
It's probably to avoid lawsuits.
No, it's because they love gambling.
It's because they
love slot
the director
machines.
saw lucky number 11.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Lucky Slevin?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
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 cool.
actually a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hate on it. It's about this kid whose parent was killed by like a crime family.
Oh no.
And there's two warring crime families, and he plots something to kill the two heads.
It's kind of
It's
like
really cool. It's nice.
I always forget if it's a fistful of dollars or a few dollars more. It's the one with the two towns where he kind of plays them against each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
It's like that.
Okay.
It's good.
It is a definitely
Willis
it's
is in
definitely
it.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
Morgan
Morgan Freeman, I think, plays one of the crime family.
So
heads.
Rosario Dawson is like, we got to derail this train, and the company is like, we got to just let it roll.
Well, they assess the risk. It's like
they realize
$100
this is
million,
gonna cost
like
a lot
minimum.
of money.
Yeah,
Like the company's going to go out of business if this happens.
yeah. They're like, we can't derail this one.
Yes, we need other options.
Yeah, but they still tried.
But
in real life.
she realizes that there's a stretch of 12 miles of like empty farmland, I guess, where it would be safe to derail this train.
They
and
won't
no one would be
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
And then after that is populated areas that it goes through.
Yeah.
The company decides, and this has nothing based on reality.
No.
Um,
They want a
in reality,
villain,
they'd
you
be
know?
trying to derail this train every second of every, like,
Well, they tried.
yeah.
It was just too fast.
They tried.
I
They
have
tried
a-
throwing it on the sidings, and then
I do have a dumb question.
Okay.
Could you have got the Air Force involved and had them like blow up the
blow
ramp?
up the rail.
Why would
Yeah.
you do
You're gonna
that?
scramble
Why-
jets.
Why would you blow up the ramp?
Seems a bit.
You think it's
What
too
the
much?
fuck?
Yeah, I don't think the military is going to get involved in this. I'm sorry, they're just not. I mean, in theory, you could have a helicopter man come and try and jump on the top of a train. I don't know how the railroad had the resources to do that. They organized the whole thing. The freight company, I guess, had a helicopter and a fucking marine pilot in their back pocket that they fucking get
Just
together
in case.
to fucking drop this guy. Yeah, I don't think they're scrambling fighter jets to bomb the infrastructure of the U.S. Seems maybe a bit over the top. Maybe.
I was just thinking, if it's that much of a disaster,
All freight gets cut off from the city for years.
They couldn't even scramble just to take down fucking United 93.
well, at least the rail would be stationary. So.
It took like months to take down a balloon.
Yeah. They couldn't even shoot a fucking balloon down after a week of it doing everything it needed to do. Yeah, our military's fucking aces.
Top notch.
Holy shit. This is a really good episode.
Brian's been
I've
crying
been
the whole
the
time.
entire fucking episode.
So, by now the media has been alerted to the situation, and I guess local authorities as well, because as the train passes a crossing,
It blows through a truck.
well, hold
like
on.
It's nothing.
Well, yes, it blows through a truck, and doesn't even slow it down.
It doesn't do anything.
Well, it is
That's
unstoppable.
believable. You know, it happened. But let me just say this. So, in real life,
Yeah.
there was a rogue sheriff who took it upon himself to get a shotgun and try and shoot the fuel cutoff switch. Which, in order for the fuel cutoff, and what that means is it would literally drain the fuel out of the engine, right?
Yeah.
In order for that to happen, you have to hold the button down for 3 seconds. So shooting it
Makes it worse.
is not a viable option. However, this guy wanted to give it a shot. So he came up next to the train and he blasted it with a shotgun and he hit the fuel cap and nothing happened.
Is that not
The
the most
film-
American solution to a problem?
Yes, it
ever?
is.
I'm just going to shoot
Listen,
The
if he was right.
filmmakers decided to take that little anecdote and turn it into a gigantic firing squad shot team with automatic rifles who literally unload clips into the moving train.
Public. It's a full platoon with M4s. It's fucking.
Remember, boys, aim for the red dot.
It's the most ridiculous, and nobody hits.
I was watching.
Even
I
if
went,
they did it,
and
they
I
just
literally
break it.
screamed, "They're shooting the train!" I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
And Brian's like, it really happened. It was one fucking sheriff just going, boom. I missed.
You must have lost your mind. when
Yeah,
they started
I was fucking like, holy shit. The helicopter thing is the type of thing a guy thinks of. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, all right,
Right,
you
like
could
land
drop
it, we
a
can do
guy.
that.
Yeah.
It won't cost
mobilize
us.
the
Yeah, it won't cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Let's blast it. Is not something I would have thought of.
If you're gonna do something like that, maybe like I get like the sheriff thinking about the switch, but I feel like if you're authorities, you probably have a little more information than the single sheriff of that town. Like maybe shoot the tank.
Well, that's going to cause a massive explosion.
like,
Right. How did the automatic
nobody-
weapons not ignite the diesel fuel? The massive tank of diesel fuel.
but if it blows up, it'll slow it down.
They were all aiming for the dot, so they were just hitting like the siding.
I mean, the guy with the shotgun's lucky he didn't do that.
Yes, he is.
That would have been cool. If that's how the train stopped, he shot it with a shotgun and blew it up.
There'd be one less sheriff.
Well, it depends how far he was, you know.
He was like right there.
Oh.
He literally had like a 2-foot shot.
He missed.
He hit the tank. He didn't know what he was doing. He shot the fucking fuel cap off.
He's the most American dude ever.
I'm sure he had a cowboy hat on.
Oh, definitely.
I
actually think
I like to believe he had a
you
cowboy
can
hat
see
on.
the footage online of him shooting.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The news interviewed him. Like I saw a little
Yeah,
clip of it. Yeah.
There's like I watched a couple of news reports from it. It's just so fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
But mind you, Ned shows up and he's trying to
Well,
talk
they have a
to-
new plan.
he's trying to talk to the cops and they're like, get out of here. He's like, Connie sent me. And they all freeze.
Whoa, the yard
There you go.
master.
They're like, Connie sent you?
I don't fuck with yard masters.
We gotta-
That's a level of authority that fucking I don't mess with.
Untouched. What? Connie is what like hippies consider the man, like full control of everything at all times. Like that's
Connie is the deep state.
Yeah,
She is the
Connie's
embodiment of the deep state. She's the unelected bureaucracy that's behind everything.
It's Big Connie. Big Con. So they come up with a plan where they're going to put a train
In front of the train.
in front, and then they're going to hit the brakes on that train
try
to
to slow it down.
down.
Yes.
And while they're doing that,
This is physically impossible.
well, I had an idea to stop the train.
All right, what is your idea?
Yeah, let me get in front of the missile. Stop it.
You get a Spider-Man
Okay.
and you put him in front.
Oh,
And
right.
he webs
Yeah.
Right.
a bunch, and he holds on tight.
Mhm. Right. And then when he's unmasked, everyone on the train can treat him like the Messiah.
Yes.
And just be like, we will keep your identity safe, Spider-Man.
Yes. Exactly.
In an above ground subway
In
in
New York
downtown Manhattan.
Those are all over.
Or everywhere.
You can't go more than 3 feet without
Like
seeing
3
it.
million people saw you.
There's no sun in Manhattan. It's just shade because there's above you is subways.
Oh, I show the Messiah. You know, the sun shines down.
The light of Spider-Man.
I actually think they shot that in Cleveland, believe it or not.
Wow, what a cop out. Well, probably it's cheaper.
Cleveland rocks. That's what I'm saying.
So Will and Frank. Will was like, we got to go on the side. He was wrong about that.
They've been routed to a siding
And
Yeah.
to get out of the way of the train.
their last cart gets hit. Would that have derailed it? Because I feel like it would have.
Possible.
Train hitting a cart?
Either it's going to derail or it's going to obliterate it
Yeah.
and keep going.
Okay.
It could go
I
either
mean, it's
way.
the last cart. I guess the weight would kind of
Right.
fly right out.
They realized that the train, because he picked up those extra cars by mistake but way back when, foreshadowing,
Yeah.
they're not going to fit on the siding. And through his railroad knowledge, Frank realizes this and decides to disobey orders and continue on to the next siding.
Because
that
he
they
has the experience.
Right.
Which
is
they also
longer.
still didn't fit.
Well, they don't make
They
it.
don't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But this is what happened in real life.
Yeah.
These guys, the two real guys, we mentioned their names
Yeah.
before. If you want to do it again, they were on an engine, and they were told to go onto a side and get out of the way of this runaway train. And as it passed, they decided to take it upon themselves to go after it in reverse.
So yeah. So they go back on the main line, go in reverse to
Yeah.
get behind
Knowlton
the
and
train.
Forston.
Right.
Right.
Now you could. Now here's why I said it's impossible to get it from the front.
Yeah.
Because in order to couple up, you're gonna have to have the train crash into the train in the front. You know
Doesn't
see
have
what
a
I'm
couple.
saying?
Yeah.
Which you would never be able to get the speed that perfect.
Yeah.
Where the speeding train doesn't obliterate the one in front of it.
Yeah. And you're
You
not
know?
coupled because there's no couple in the front, right?
There is.
On the locomotive
Yeah.
part? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can couple up from either end. The other way, you could theoretically get the train that's behind the runaway train, the locomotive behind the runaway train, to go faster than the one in front and crash into it and couple up that way. And then try and use braking
Right.
power to slow it down, which is what happens in the movie and in real life.
Yeah.
The front one is just crazy.
Well, the front one,
They just needed more obstacles for the
Yeah, for the
train
movie.
to get
not only
there.
that, but they killed a man.
Well, yeah. For some reason. And it's insane the way it happens. The train, the engine in the front
It just falls
takes
off.
a switch and goes on to another track, and the other one doesn't take the same switch. How does that happen?
It just went
It just
forward.
keeps going straight. And it knocks the engine in the front on its side, and then boom, it blew up.
And the
just blows
bungee
up.
guy is knocked out, like
Oh, yeah,
dangling.
yeah,
in the
we
air.
forgot about the helicopter man who's been knocked unconscious or dead. I'm not sure. He's hanging there.
He failed at getting onto
Yeah.
the train.
It's attempt after attempt. Finally, they decide they're going to derail this thing because they've run out of options. So they get portable derails. Now, here's how this works. A portable derailer is a little device. It's about this big. It goes on the actual rail of a track, and it works like a ramp.
When you said this big, for in case it's a listener, I would say what, 2 to 3
About the
feet?
size of a cat.
All right, yeah.
All right. They're generally yellow, and you stick it on the rail, and it redirects the wheel of a train as it passes over it to fall off of the track.
Like a speed bump, almost. That is
It's
not on the same rail.
meant to knock a train off of its tracks.
Right.
These things are designed for yard service generally, or to protect tracks out on the sidings and things like that. They are meant to be taken at very slow speeds. Like, if you go over a derail, it's because you made a mistake, not because we were trying to use it to derail something.
Right.
You know?
It's not made to stop a fast train.
Right. Yeah. So,
man, you sure know a lot from these movies.
They're very detailed movies.
Yeah, the scene where the hobos and Ernest Borgnine sit down and spoke about train
Emperor
derails.
of the North. It taught me everything I know. The derailer, when they tried to use it,
they tried in real life. It got obliterated.
Blew up.
It didn't get obliterated.
Blew
it just
up.
got thrown away.
Oh, it wasn't,
Isn't it more
it wasn't
fun-
like TNT.
The train kicked it off the rail, and it was like, all right, well, that
Isn't
didn't
it
work.
more fun to say it got obliterated?
They put 10 derailers in the movie
And it
in a row,
explodes.
Yeah.
and it's like landmines going off as it fucking passes. How these things didn't derail the train, I don't know, because apparently they're packed with TNT. You remember when T.E. Lawrence blew up the fucking the rail line?
Oh my God.
It was like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid.
So,
We got a quick Hooters plug.
yes.
Yeah, that was great.
That was nice.
Did you guys see the Hooters sketch with Sydney Sweeney on SNL?
Yes.
I did not.
Not funny,
No.
but I did enjoy the sketch.
I didn't see it, but
I found her episode really...
You watched the whole thing?
I saw a bunch of sketches. None of them really were funny.
was it lacking
But every
comedy?
sketch is just look how
Hypnotizing.
hot she
Yeah,
is.
right.
But no, that's every bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got to sell her, you know? Makes sense.
I'm
Yeah,
okay
she
with
fixes cars.
What?
Sydney Sweeney?
She's into fixing classic cars, and she makes videos about it.
Really?
Yeah,
I got to watch
She's a
these
grease
videos.
monkey?
apparently.
That's
She
cool.
knows all about the Johnson rod.
I
guess
respect
so.
I respect that. That's cool. Think she owns a Tucker?
Maybe.
She's a dreamer.
She dreams. What was I going to say?
So they have a narrow miss,
Yes.
and they're like, what should we do?
And now it's up to Denzel and Chris
Faker.
Pine to run down this train, couple up to the back, and then use the brakes on their engine
To slow it
to
down.
slow down the runaway train.
So
And
they
if
can
they
hop
don't
on.
if they don't stop it early, it's going to be 100 times worse on the curve.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
they're barreling towards the Stanton curve. I don't know
Yes.
if this is a real thing or not. It might be, but it is an elevated rail line, much like in Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
And it has a 15-mile-an-hour curve. Now, what that means is a train can't go more than 15 miles an hour around it. It could possibly take 20, but any more than that, and the train's going to come flying off the rails.
Into a fuel yard.
Into tanks of gasoline.
So the already molten explosives will go into more molten explosives, and
Creating-
kill millions of people.
It is real.
The Stanton curve.
It's there's pictures. It's
Is there
actually,
fuel tanks right
it's
next to it?
No, it's like
Oh.
homes. It's Bel Air, Ohio, and you could see pictures of it. So
Oh, so
That's
it
where
would
the Fresh
hit, it would-
Prince is.
It would
Yeah.
hit houses.
Bel Air, Ohio, Bel Air.
Yeah, that one's white.
It would hit houses. It wouldn't be like a fucking atom bomb.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the size of the Chrysler building.
So Will's gonna go outside, and they're gonna couple onto this so they can slow down.
Yes.
And he gets a boo boo.
Yeah.
What was coming out of the back of that fucking train?
Grain.
It was grain. Okay,
Yeah.
I figured that. There was a lot of grain.
Yeah.
Well, it's going very fast.
Yes. It's a good thing he had his safety goggles on, his safety glasses.
Yeah, well, that's what they're there for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Excellent use of PPE.
his legs, his feet get all fucked up.
He gets
his
his foot
His
cut in
foot.
the knuckle
Yeah,
of the coupler.
he gets a boo boo.
But he gets the train coupled after kicking it a couple of. He kicked the pin
and
down.
almost falling.
He had to like.
By the
really-
way, I was loving the jargon. They were using all the right jargon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
Nice.
They even threw old head out, which is great. You know, a couple of wagons doing some
Yeah.
eyeballing.
Ethan Suplee should have red blocked.
They don't do that. No.
Also, this scene, they're on radios together. They're trying to talk. The train's loud as it is. To make things worse, the helicopter's right next to them. So now they really can't hear.
And Chris Pine is
Chris
like,
Pine had great hand signals, by the way.
yeah. Well, they had to communicate with hand signals because
Yes.
Denzel couldn't hear.
Right.
So he gets back to the car with Denzel,
Cart hopping.
and he has to have like his leg duct taped,
His foot.
his foot.
Yeah.
He fucked it up in the coupling,
Whole situation's like a
and now
Wednesday on
Denzel
the-
is like, "You gotta man this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna."
I'm going.
Denzel decides he's climbing the cars and trying to throw handbrakes on one by one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that a possible thing to do?
yes.
Okay.
It's incredibly unlikely and really like insane, but to climb at 70 miles an hour over train cars and try and throw handbrakes. But if you throw enough handbrakes on, you're going to slow the train down.
They do it in
Without a doubt.
Bangladesh a lot.
They do that.
Yeah. I wasn't kidding.
What was I going to say?
Denzel
Maybe
thing.
someone I know tried to do that once.
Really?
Yes.
They tried to ride like
Someone I saw in a film was very new to working on the railroad
Okay.
and thought that something was out of control that actually wasn't, and decided that the best course of action would be to jump onto moving equipment and try and throw handbrakes on really fast. It was completely unnecessary for that person to do that. And he looked silly and stupid afterward.
He needed a frank
He needed a talking
needed
to by
Frank.
Denzel.
So they're latched on, and now Denzel is like climbing through the train.
Well, also the locomotive's brakes explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
I don't know how that would happen. Maybe it can. It very well may be possible. I just don't know.
Oh, we have to
get him.
get him
Get him
popping.
Come on to the
Coming.
mic. Come on to the mic. Careful.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
How quickly do you guys give out? Would
What guys?
how quickly would
The show?
the train company
The
give
reviewing
out,
reviewing history?
how
Yeah.
soon would the train company give out people's names that were involved in this incident?
Well,
So that the news
are
media
we
can have
talking
them.
about the movie?
Yes, yes.
Oh, they do it right away in the movie.
Right away.
Yeah, with photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my question.
Hold
I'm
on.
gonna direct you-
You gotta watch out for the camera.
to the train company's
There you
media
go.
department, which may be in the basic training for new employees of the train company,
Right.
may be told that when asked by the media about anything, to direct them simply to the media department.
Well, yeah, this is why I questioned it, because I went through a similar thing when I worked for a bank. We had little cards at all of our desks saying, "Don't answer
Don't-
any questions. Send
don't
them
talk
to this
to
phone
me.
number."
Right, yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if that was realistic. If that's a normal procedure to from what you know of.
Well, in Pelham, that movie with the trains, yeah, they
Wait a minute,
direct-
Denzel's in that too.
In the remake, yeah.
Yeah, he loves,
Well,
loves
Tony
trains.
Scott and him have
Coincidence?
like 5 movies together.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good point.
No problem.
So the train glides on one rail.
Yeah.
They kind
On
of
the
like
curve.
skid on the curb on
Yeah.
one rail, which
Well, they managed to slow it down to 12.
yeah,
Which
well,
is
I'm
act-
sorry, that's
No.
that's what
Yeah.
really happened. They slowed it down to 12 miles per hour, and someone was able to jump on
on into
and
the cart, yeah,
and stop it.
which is awesome.
It's heroic.
It's awesome.
What
yeah.
they did is fucking heroic.
yeah.
But
In this,
they slow it down just enough to get around
slide
that
on
curve.
one
But the danger is not over
one rail.
No.
because now Chris Pine is out of action completely because now
He's done.
the brakes on the motor have
And a
exploded.
cop car flips,
Yes.
going like 35. I don't know
Now-
why. It's just they were just flipped.
The fucking Deus Ex Ned comes with his red pickup truck.
Fucking Ned saves the day. Ned saves the day. Didn't decide to bring someone with him, but decided to get the injured person to.
I like how when he pulls up to the engine and Chris Pine sees him, he needs permission from Connie before
Yeah.
he can jump off.
Connie, can I do this?
Yes, you may. I am the yard master.
Are you the yard keeper? I am the yard master.
Ned. Ned's a wild man.
And then Ned drives his car with the longest stretch
Parallel.
of straight road
Parallel to the train.
all the way to the front of the train, moving at like 80 miles an hour at
Yes.
this point. Past Denzel, who is now like in the middle of the train.
Yeah.
And Chris Pine is able to jump onto the head end
Yeah.
and shut the train off, dump the train.
And the day is saved.
The day
Now,
is saved.
in real life,
Yeah.
how did they end up shutting it down?
They managed
Like this.
to with the motor attached to the back.
Uh-huh.
They were able to slow it down to 12 miles an hour.
Someone
and
hopped
someone on the side hopped on and
Stopped it.
stopped
And-
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just kind of ran and jumped on a...
Yeah. Mind you, the whole time.
Is that hard to do, like a 12-mile-per-hour train?
It's dangerous, but it is doable.
It's... Okay.
Like,
I
guess
wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah,
running
obviously
fast
you want to
enough,
avoid it.
if you're running fast enough, I'm sure you'll be fine. The entire time that we kind of didn't mention is the head of the company is like, no, we gotta derail it. We're not trying to jump on and stop it. Like all his ideas are like
That
not
guy
working.
always plays a dick in whatever
Yeah.
he's in.
He's
I think
always
he's in
wrong.
Small Soldiers.
He also,
Was
I
he?
believe, was in Seinfeld.
He was in Seinfeld. Who was he?
He was Jerry's friend, Joel Hornick. That Jerry has to still be
He
friends with.
thinks he does coke, right?
No. He's the one where Jerry and him were friends when they were kids, and he still wants to like be friends with Jerry.
Yeah.
And Jerry really doesn't want anything to do
Doesn't
with
he
him.
buy him a van?
No,
No,
that's
it's a different
Seinfeld's van.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought it was the guy. He used to feeling good all the time.
Oh no. He used to feeling good all the time.
So yeah, he's just plays an evil dude. Will gets a call from his wife now.
What about the
Saved
like
the day.
the owners on the golf course?
Oh,
Just the fat
It's
cat.
just
fat
yeah, that's
cats
what
are
they
bad.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the fat cats are just like so evil in this for no reason at all. They didn't do anything.
Do it.
Get it done. He gets a
Use
call
the
from his wife.
helicopter.
Yeah, get the helicopter. Get that Marine that we hired for this exact moment. Ned kills his press conference. Nobody gives a fuck about the dead engineer. Like it's just forgotten
Yeah.
about. Like
Well, Denzel had that one moment of like, I know that guy.
I know that guy. At the end, everyone is like insanely happy, and nobody's like, "We lost
well,
the
it's
man."
triumphant.
Like it's just like, oh, whatever. He's
He's disposable.
disposable.
And big happy ending. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Denzel gets to keep his job.
Yeah, they don't force him into retirement.
And
Chris Pine gets his wife and kids back.
Yeah.
He ends the restraining order
Well,
against
that's
his children.
yeah. That's how you actually win a woman's heart over.
and then
you
we
know?
get just blaring out of my TV Sierra, like in some fucking pussy popping song. And it's like, where did this come from? This isn't the tone of this movie
No.
at all.
And we also get little stingers about what happens to every character.
Yeah.
And it ends with like Ethan Suplee. It's like, and this fucking idiot
Works
got
in fast
fired or works
food.
in fast food now.
He's insulting all fast food. Right?
Yes. Like he's doing the lowest thing you could imagine.
What a garbage fuck. Anyway, he's shaking my ass.
Right. This movie stunk.
The problem with the movie, my only problem with the movie, is there are not enough train songs used or like music drops.
You love train songs.
You need more train
You
songs.
need like "Runaway Train" by Soul Asylum.
Nice, soft song.
You need
Yeah.
the Aerosmith song.
Train kept her rolling.
That's a need.
Yeah.
Trains by Porcupine Tree.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Porcupine Tree by
Right,
Trains.
yes.
Which
That should
is
have been
I,
the intro.
I just did a train video for
You used
Tel's
all the
TV,
train songs.
and I used nothing but train songs.
You
That's
did it
what
the right
this
way.
movie needed.
You did it the right way. Yeah. What do you guys rate this? Because that was the whole thing, and
I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I liked it.
I had more fun reviewing it than watching it.
8. I'm giving it an 8.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. What about you?
7.5.
Oh,
It
wow.
was a 7, but I had so much fun reviewing it. It's going up half a point.
I gave a 5.5. I can't give it credit. It's just not that good. I don't like
It's a
it.
totally good action movie.
It's a fine as an action movie. It's just the incident itself is like such a
It's a nothing
it's
burger.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened. So it's like for this.
Well, because
for this
Crisis averted.
content,
yeah.
This is a heroic story.
it is. But for our context, it's like there's not much to really
It was
chew into here.
Oh, also, this isn't in the movie, but both guys did go and meet President Bush.
That's true. Yes, they did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they were consulted for the film.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
They
yeah?
worked on the
Yeah,
film. There's a
that's pretty
picture of
cool.
the two of them with Denzel.
Do you think when they
They
watched
taught
it,
them
they
how to
were
be
like-
railroaders.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
a couple of old heads.
Do you think when they watched it, like the final product, they were just like, "Why is there so many explosions?"
No, they're probably like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes us look way cooler.
Yeah. I heard George Bush when he went golfing with them.
Or the other guy was actually white. He didn't know he was going to be played by a black man. He's all confused. They did me dirty.
I like glory, but
Yeah. I mean, at least it's Denzel.
Yeah, right. If you're going to be played by one man, it's fine.
imagine if it's Chris Tucker.
It's all silly.
So I'm playing you.
As Ruby Rod,
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna play the role gay.
Yeah. I know. I've been talking to you all day, but I think what this role needs is more gayness.
This way, whenever anybody watches this movie in the future, they're gonna say,
That guy's
That's
gay.
Who's you drunk? Oh, shit.
"Now watch this drive."
Because it's...
That's a lot of wheels.
Is that more wheels than usual?
Yeah, that's a lot of wheels.
How many wheels are usually on a train?
On an engine?
On a locomotive,
6.
you put 16.
No, 8. 8. There's usually 8.
How many wheels did I put?
You put 16 because there's 8 on each
2,
side.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 wheels you have on there. 16 wheels.
It also looks like the hot dog car. Like, why is it like a giant dick? This also has veins. What's with you? What? Look at this. It looks like a little man on a huge cock with 18 wheels. What the fuck? What are these lines? What are those 3 like greater than signs?
Those are 7s.
Oh.
7s? I thought they were vents for the diesel fuel.
This was a great episode.
Thank you for watching and listening. Like,
That was our-
subscribe.
That was our 100th, guys.
Yeah.
That's our 100th. Wow. We did it.
Centani.
We did it.
Did it.
Yeah, whatever.
100 straight episodes, no missed weeks.
Yeah.
I think our 100th movie, we should like do something.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thanks.
We'll just keep pumping out the content.
Chugging along.
I'm
We're
so
unstoppable.
We're unstoppable.
I'm glad I could watch Brian cry for like an hour and a half.
Dude,
straight.
I
You're still crying.
it's this and I think 8 Men Out are the 2 episodes where I was like dying from start to finish.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Oh fuck, man.
Thank
All
you.
Want to give a big thank you to everybody listening and or watching. We greatly appreciate it. Want to give a big thank you to Tom, Steve, Dave, Bry, Walt, Q, Get him. Want to give a big thank you to anybody who's checked us out for these 100 episodes. Thanks, guys. More is coming. Follow the show on all social media, Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Like, subscribe. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.